dun, dun. Moana, make way, Moana, it's time you knew. The city of Mutinu is on. Best Disney film ever made.
That's
Ever.
some strong opinion.
It's not, because it's objectively, subjectively, and factually the greatest Disney product ever made.
I think you might be using the words objectively and factually wrong.
I don't give a shit. It's right. It's correct. It's the best. It's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it. Do I need to say any more?
Yes. Justify Moana. Why it's better than Aladdin, The Lion King.
Because, in all fairness, Maui, right, bodies each and every one of them. Lloyd just gave a side eye, so I think he wants to start. Right, we recording?
We've been recording for ages.
Shit.
Whenever you're ready, we can kick off.
Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the UnCapt Gaming Podcast. My name's Dale, and as always, I'm joined by Phil and Lloyd. And today we are talking about streaming and its kind of impact on our gaming habits and stuff. But first, I want to know what you two have been playing this week. So we will start with Phil. What have you been playing this week, Phil?
Well, I mean, since we're going to be on the subject of streaming, the game I've been streaming at the moment is the reboot of Tomb Raider, from whatever year that came out, but the new trilogy anyway. So that's been the big one. Streaming wise, I'm about 2/3 of the way through it at the moment, I think, and it still holds up quite well. Although there are some bits which are just an exercise in frustration at times, particularly when the combat decides to just be really cheap and like have this 360 combat that you can't really account for, because if you've got like machine gunners behind you while the people are at the front attacking you with a sword, and it's like, well, I'm just going to die. That's fine. I'll just die. But I am enjoying it. Actually, I am enjoying that. And revisiting it. And then off stream, I've made no real progress, but I'm playing Bloodborne to see if I can actually get any into it. Last bit of progress I made was I got up to the cleric beast and immediately got bodied by him. So that was the first proper boss. Sees me, kills me, the end. But I persist because it's Soulsborne. That's what you do.
Grudge on and hope for the best. That's fair. And Lloyd, what about you, buddy?
So I streamed Katana Zero last Sunday. Yeah, it was like my first stream back in like a month, I think. So it was an interesting experience because it got me really frustrated, and I don't do well when I'm frustrated. So it's a great game, but I wouldn't go back to streaming it again. And I did Jurassic World, obviously, on the launch day on the 9th as well. And off stream, I've been playing Let's Build a Zoo, which is very, very fun. And yeah, I'm enjoying that, loving life as a zookeeper at the moment.
Yeah. Do you have any hybrids? Are they called hybrid? I don't know what they call them. The spliced animals. Do you have any spliced animals yet?
The mixed breeds.
That's the one. I don't know what they call them because it's like splicing or something.
Not yet. But I just discovered there's factories in the game, so I'm excited to see what that's going to be.
Is this in Let's Build a Zoo?
Yeah,
Let's Build a Zoo. But there was at the beginning. I think it's about day 3. There's a point where you get the dog.
Yeah,
the dog that appears at the zoo, and I'm like, it's like you can keep the dog and pretend it's a lion, or you can do this advertisement, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
It's strange for a sim game like that to have like a morality system.
It's confusing. It's cool though. I like it. I think it's really cool because you can kind of be a bad zookeeper in like Planet Zoo, but it kind of just defeats the object of the game, whereas this is the object of the game. one of the
Yeah.
objectives of the game.
Crossbreeding animals in the zoo to create hybrids is probably one of those things in real life that would maybe get you identified as a bad zookeeper. I would imagine. Don't do that. Any zookeepers listening,
No.
don't do that.
That's no.
No.
They look scary as well, to be fair. They look terrifying, the animals. So yeah. I guess that leaves good old Dale last. Jurassic World. Just to sound like a broken record. That's quite. I played a bit of Pokemon Unite, and I played a bit of Forager. If any of you have played that,
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I played a bit. I played it quite a lot a while ago, and I've just been when I've been working so much. It's been a bit. I need something to just be easy for a change, you know.
Is that
Forager,
the one? Sorry, is that the one with the cave? Like the? Or is that something else? That might be something else.
sounds like something else. It's the top down one where you just gather resources and it just keeps going and going and going and going.
Okay.
So I've been playing that, but I've just been absolutely enthralled and in love with Jurassic World. It's I love it.
I need to play more.
Yeah. Just the dinosaurs, everything just looks so good. And I'm not a player to like judge on how good a game looks because it's about gameplay really, but oh my lord, the game is stunning and it's just carrying me forward, you know.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get a sandbox session in tonight before I go away. So
yeah. Well, that looks like it's going to be the main chunk of the game is the sandbox, is where you just set up your own park. I mean, I've not got that far yet, but kind of what it looks like, you know?
Yeah. I think I started it and then I put down my arrival point and then I was like, oh, I've got all this to do. So I was like, I best get that done first. So
I have got things that I need to do.
Got a thing called a life.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the game. I thought you were getting sidetracked by other things.
No, I was like, here's my to-do list for the day.
Damn. But yeah, that's been us. Let us know in the comments and stuff what you've been playing this week. It's been a bit of an interesting week for games. We've had quite a lot released, haven't we? You know, I think by the time this goes up, you'll have Battlefield and Pokemon. Right? Yeah, Lloyd's looked stressed then about Pokemon. I think he's a little excited.
I'm gonna have my Switch on in one corner, my PC on the other with Jurassic World, and I'll just be doing multitasking.
Just have to split it 5 minutes at a time.
I don't have time for all these games.
I know. It's gone from having nothing to everything all at once, and it's overwhelming.
And February haven't even come yet.
Let's not talk about February. That's a distant dream. We don't want to know about that right now. But I have a question to start off us in streaming, because we're all streamers. We're all, I suppose, content creators now, right? But my way to segment us in to the podcast topic is just to like how have you found streaming? Not how you found out about it, but how is streaming for you? How are you enjoying it? Whoever wants to pipe in first is more than welcome.
Well, I think Lloyd should probably, because you've taken a break and come back a couple of times, haven't you? So that probably is more interesting to talk about.
I think because me and Dale started back in the lockdown originally as UnCapt. Yeah, and then on Mixer, believe it or not, and then we moved over to Twitch. And then I had my room done out, as you can see, it's still not done. So I had like 6 months out, and it was weird coming back because I think stream is kind of one of those things that you've got to get into the flow of doing. And I'd kind of lost that confidence over the 6 months. So when I came back, it was really cool because like everyone was there and it was really nice. And then like it sounds quite, I know you shouldn't focus on the numbers, but I remember like the second stream didn't do as well, and it was kind of like, oh, has everyone just like lost interest in me sort of thing. But yeah, it like that sort of thing gets into your head quite easily, I find, with streaming. Is that self-doubt, but I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where I am with streaming. Like I've been doing it around about eight months, I'd say, altogether now, if you add them all up. and I still don't know where I am with streaming. But yeah.
That's it. Do you not know how you want to pursue or how you want to like? Does that make sense?
I've got ideas of where I want to go with it. It's kind
Yeah.
of how to, because obviously with streaming, it's kind of finding that game that there's a community around,
Mm.
and then games that I'm interested into, and obviously and fitting in with the brand thing as well. So it's like, obviously I focus a lot on indie games. I like my indie games. I like discovering new games. So I want to do that, but it's quite difficult
Yeah.
to, do you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's why, because like I did a Steam Game Festival thing, like where I basically reviewed a couple of demos of stream, and that was a shitload of fun. Like that was really fun. Like because I was speaking to the devs. The devs were in there. Like that was just really really cool, and like I got quite pally with someone through that as well, and it was just like that was just loads of fun, and I'd happily do that again. But it's kind of Steam Game Festival happens only 4 weeks of the year, so you can't do it every week,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You live for
But
those 4 weeks.
those 4 weeks, man, give me more, give me more. But yeah, it's a weird one for me, I think,
Cre-
and I don't
cre-
really know how to explain it.
create your own year-round indie festival, Lloyd. That's what you need
I'm
to
gonna be
do.
the new Jeff Keighley soon. Um,
Yeah. Oh, jeez. And how about yourself, Phil? How are you finding it?
Yeah, I mean, we've just, I think, because the subscriptions and stuff came in last night, it kind of converted. It's like 8 months into being an affiliate, um, and I suppose there's a different feel to it, isn't it? Between kind of you can start off like my starting point was, I just got this shiny new PlayStation 5 and I wanted to test out the thing just because it said you could go live and stuff, and I was like, ooh, what's this? So I think my first actual streams, like long before I put any kind of thought or effort into it, were just random ones around last Christmas where I'd put in like I was playing Spirit of the North or something like that, like little fox jumping around, and um didn't have a camera on or anything. And then once I started to actually do it, then it was mostly like Resident Evil stuff. And like as Lloyd says, I think you got to try and like with any content creators, that you got to kind of niche down and find out where you fit. And I definitely didn't do that with at first. Like I started having different games on different days and all this sort of stuff, and I was doing 4 days a week. And I've just recently gone to like, nah, I'll do 2 days, I'll stream a week, and then that's it. I'll leave it alone and do other stuff. Because I think this is the thing, is like everyone who gets into streaming the first time, like kind of has this vision for themselves where all of a sudden they'll be streaming to hundreds or thousands of people, and raking in all this money, and it's just, it doesn't really work like that unless you've got an established marketer, you've been doing it for years. So you just kind of find somewhere you're comfortable and then do other stuff. I mean, content creation wise, do other stuff and try and build something else, because you're not gonna, I mean, sorry to break people's hearts or whatever, you're not going to build a self-sustaining career out of Twitch on its own. Especially at the moment, the way Twitch is kind of going the opposite direction to the way it should be as far as discoverability and things on the platform that help streamers rather than just basically um, extorting money from their fans with like pay to win and stuff like that. But so yeah, it's a weird one, and I've definitely had ups and downs where you had like the 24-hour stream I did, and then there was lots of people interested, and then it kind of tailed off as people went back to work from the lockdown and stuff like that. The lockdown ended, less people watching stuff, so you kind of see that tail off, which is especially brutal, I think, if you're on the low end of small as far as the streamer goes. You don't go from like 30 to 20, you go from like 6 to 2. You're just like, oh, this is a bit crap in it. But it kind of evens itself out again, I think, once you sort of know what you're doing. But yeah, it's definitely gone from being something, a hobby, to being something that, oh yeah, I can do this and be aspirational, and to back to being a hobby and kind of a side gig again. Um, with all the content creation being more of a priority, I think. that was long and rambling, so I don't know if any of that made sense. But that's kind of
No,
my
it's
thinking on it.
it's interesting. I mean, I've kind of fallen into the same sphere where I'm realizing now that other content creation is kind of king. Um, for people that don't know, I've like recently come off like a massive burnout with Twitch, and it was an eye opener. Like I had 2 weeks of streaming where I didn't enjoy anything that I was doing. Like I just didn't. I remember speaking to both of you about it, and I was just like I'm just not enjoying anything. I was doing a lot of playing games that I either thought people wanted to see or my audience wanted to see, or playing games that like was almost demanded of me, and I wasn't playing things that I was enjoying. And then I had like 3 streams before my burnout, 2 weeks away from it, and I just played whatever I wanted, and they were the 2 most fun streams I've had. So I'm beginning to realize that I need to step away from the perception of what I think people want and start just focusing on what I want to do, because, I'll portray myself in a better light. I'll be more me, I'll be happier, and, things like that. So I'm coming through a big kind of streaming slash content slash gaming emotional breakthrough, I suppose. Really weirdly. It's not something that I ever thought I'd do, but I am. So it's strange. Like I was playing a lot of. Go on, sorry.
It's definitely a roller coaster, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
you kind of have those great streams where you're like, do you know what? I can do something with this, and then you have like that bad stream, and you just don't feel like you've done anything right.
Yeah.
It's just like, and the technology problems.
Oh, don't. I think like every stream that I have, everyone knows the first 10 minutes I'm going to be sorting something out. And I've like you were trying to call me the other day to tell me like this isn't working, day, that's not working, something's wrong with your stream, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I sat there for 20 minutes beforehand making sure everything was set up and something was still wrong. Like I've embraced the scuffed brand to a T, I think, at the moment.
It is entirely possible that your computer has gained sentience and hates you.
Yeah, most probably. I mean, I hope not. Please don't. Let's be friends, But yeah, it's interesting that you both mentioned about the viewer count getting to you, and the you shouldn't notice it in quotations. And a lot of people. Yeah, I switch mine off. You always get the email and you always check afterwards. As much as you say, I don't do that. Everyone does. Everyone checks. Because
one thing I've done is I've set up my own like Captain Prezel email now, and I never read it. So if anyone wants me, don't email me on that one now at the moment. But I just don't bother with it.
I'm gonna confess my love over email and never have you read it.
I check it once a week, so I do check it, but not. Okay. I ignore the Twitch because I will.
No, I get you. It's strange. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say there's a thing, and I think it's probably worth kind of explaining this for anyone who's not a streamer or anything like that. People who just like watch streams, or people who are just interested in games in general, compared to people who do streaming. Particularly if you do streaming as something you want to go somewhere with, there's a very particular like culture around it, isn't it? And there's lots of like little things that would make no sense whatsoever if you've never been immersed in this sort of world, like with Twitch. Like there's particularly around like getting somewhere and growth and stuff. There's a whole bunch of people who refer to like the grind almost as if like it's like an RPG and you've just got to like level up to a certain point and then things will break through in it, which it doesn't really work that way. And then there's all this stuff of like all these people who are basically I suppose either deluded or con artists of like, if you join my Discord and you're active in my Discord, then we'll all support each other. The support for support culture.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of this is like you can see people who've been taken in by it and thinking like that you do all these certain things and all these things which demand so much of your time. If you ever looked into them, like like that you could never possibly give a month at that time. But if you do all these things, then apparently like you'll then start to grow and all. it's basically like a pyramid scheme. I think people use Discord servers and their own Twitch to like say we'll support each other and we'll all grow together. And then what you see is that actually one person grows as a result of it, and then everyone else is kind of left fumble around in the dark. And there's no magic formula. It's like what it should actually be is you just create engaging content, and then you find people who want to watch that sort of stuff. You bring them along, you create a community, and you grow. And even then, it's difficult because Twitch is so oversaturated and discoverability is next to non-existent. It's shite, frankly. But
language.
Sorry, Grandad. But yeah, that's the sort of. But I think if you're on the outside and you see streaming as just a thing where you click go live and you play games on the internet, it doesn't capture what it takes, but it also doesn't capture that really weird culture, which I think is probably more toxic in its own way than any of the cultures around individual games and stuff, because it's creates a mentality for people that I think is, like I say, there's delusional, and then there's also like this pyramid scheme thing of bigger streamers who prey on smaller streamers who want to make it big, and I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons I've kind of consigned it down to like it's on the side and it's a hobby, just because all that stuff is just like no.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it first here. You heard it here first, guys. Twitch is a pyramid scheme. Bill Dickens. Because let me try that again. Jeez. So has streaming changed the way that you game? Has it changed any of your habits? I've written in my notes here. I've got, has gaming changed the way you play games? And obviously it should be streaming, but that threw me right off. So for example, with me, beforehand I play everything. Like it was really hard to pinpoint what I'd be playing because I'd get addicted to so many different types of games. But then streaming has just literally put me into this kind of only single player games. And then because I've resented them so much, it feels like people don't understand that I enjoy single player games. It's just I need, something different now and again, some human interaction, someone to scream at me and tell me that I'm awful at a multiplayer game for me to realize, okay, maybe I should play something different. But no, has any of your gaming habits or your gaming kind of mentality changed because you've started streaming?
I think I'm almost the opposite, because like I think I was always one for single player stuff, and I'd always play the same sort of types of games. It wasn't like very narrow, but it was relatively narrow because it was always like single player story stuff, generally horror-y Resident Evil stuff or stuff like that in that sort of vein, with maybe a bit of action and role-playing stuff around the fringes. But there wasn't huge varieties like of things. It was like where they like, oh yeah, well, I'm playing survival horror 1 minute, roguelites the next, all this sort of stuff, and everything in between. It was just very sort of, I knew what I liked and I played that. Whereas I suppose I played a bit wider since streaming, but yeah, I think the only difference, I probably talk to myself more off stream than I did before. Like just because you got that mentality, everything is content, so you've got to be engaging. You can't just sit there slouched on the couch with your console just go. Ugh. So I mean, I do that. I absolutely do 100% do that. But then I'll talk to myself while I'm doing it in a way that I probably wouldn't beforehand. It's just like, some invisible imaginary audience is there, so I can make some kind of funny remark.
Yeah. What about you, Lloyd?
I rage quit differently.
Whoa, wait, what?
I rage quit differently.
Okay, so first, how did you used to rage quit, and how was it changed?
It used to be throw the controller at the console, switch it on. No, I'm joking. It was just jump across the room, push the button, and switch off the Xbox, and just be like, "Yeah, nah, never playing that game again. Never doing it." Now it's putting the controller on my head and hoping it doesn't,
Hoping you don't
fall
just
off.
scream
Yeah.
and swear for the. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. Other than that, I think I'm like Phil. I'm playing more. I'm playing more demos.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Oh. See, I
Um,
find that I've gone the opposite way. I'm not playing anywhere near as much.
I'm not in terms of time played. I'm not playing as much because obviously other things have
Yeah.
kind of. But like in terms of me going out and looking for new games, like, I'm not like, oh, that looks like a big game. I'm gonna go. But like I've said before on the podcast, I don't know whether that's because of my gaming habits have changed in general.
Yeah.
Because of like what I said when I mentioned the messenger, and I think it's the first one. I don't know whether that's the reason for it, but and I've got a PC, which obviously that I'm using a lot more. So
Yeah.
yeah. Other than that, it's just rage quitting. Different thing.
The time thing is interesting. Just sorry to cut across you there, just to pick up on that. Because when you said that, I just realised like when I'd like the early parts of the pandemic before I started streaming, and you just sort of like every minute that you weren't working or whatever you were doing, you could just sit there on the couch and play games, and you probably like. And I think I mentioned it before about like I think over the course of Christmas alone, just that like 1 week or whatever, I was off and put in 80 odd hours over Assassin's Creed Valhalla to like finish the game. Whereas you can't spend as much time playing games if you're making content around playing games because you've got to do other stuff like video editing and or setting up a stream or whatever else. I'd genuinely not thought about that until you mentioned that, but that's definitely a thing. I think if you make content about playing games, you can't spend as much time just playing games.
That's kind of
Yeah.
sad. It's really sad. Like, yeah, I'm just like I'm not gaming much.
Oh, it needs to get a little
Like,
violence.
I know, just we don't play games no more. But like, it is. It's straight. Like, I've got a weird. I don't know if you two are there, but I've got like a weird, almost like FOMO when I game. Like, if I sat here now and I was like, I've got an hour spare, I'm just gonna sit here and play. I don't know, what's here? Some Minecraft, like, and see on the side. Like, and something interesting happened. I'd be like, I could have been recording that, or I could have, I could have been live, and you know what I mean. It could have been recorded and documented. Whereas, like in the past, I've had so many amazing memories gaming. They're like, I don't know, they're lost. They're lost to the ethos. Like no one knows that stuff's happened. Whereas now, everything I do, I'm like, oh, this could be something. This could be, a video, or this could be my next stream. Like I was saying about Monster Hunter Stories 2, last podcast, I think I mentioned it, about Gamers of the Year, and I've only played about a quarter of that game, and I bought it, and I was super excited to play it, and I started playing it, put about, I don't know, maybe about 10-ish hours into it, and I stopped, and I was thinking to myself, I could play this on stream, so I don't want to go any further because I don't want to ruin it for me for the reaction on stream, and I've not gone back to it, which is really sad because I love that game. But the fact that I feel that my reactions need to be first hand, so I don't want to play things before I potentially play them on stream, is kind of damaging my my enjoyment of games, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some of that and then some not. Like, so anything I'm streaming, I don't make any progress off stream. Even if I'm sitting there thinking, like Tomb Raider, I sort of think I wouldn't mind giving it playing around a little bit. But then I'm like, but then I've done something which the stream hasn't. Even though, yeah, realistically, people will be dipping in and out and miss stuff anyway. There's still sort of a pause on that. Like, that's the stream game. I cannot make any progress off stream for that. And then on the other side, I'm still playing other things. Like I say, I've been started a bit on Bloodborne, and I'm still between when that gets too much, I'll grind away on The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us 2 at the moment. So I'm grounded because I'm trying to like just play through them again and with one. I think I'm trophy hunting a bit as well. But at the same time, the fact that the PlayStation 5 is always recording, and the PlayStation 4 was as well, means that if something happens, I can just go, press the button, save the last 5 minutes of gameplay or the last half an hour or whatever it is, and then later on I can turn that into a video. So I've got, I suppose, a bit of that like consciousness of going, is this content? Yeah, I'll save that video and I'll edit it for later and stuff. So it's the same as that, but without the FOMO, because the console is always watching.
What about you, Lloyd? Does that ever?
I don't know, because like sometimes like streaming kind of saves me. It's like I really want to play this game, but I haven't got the time. How can I make that productive? Like, and that's exactly what happened with Katana Zero, and that's why I wanted to come back and play that on stream, was because I was just like, right, I really want to play this game, but I want to stream, and it was kind of like one of those things of kill two birds one stone. But
Yeah.
I do get a lot of that. Like, I'm kind of getting it with Let's Build a Zoo at the moment. Like, it's kind of like, because I'm recording that for the YouTube, and it's like, it's kind of like I want to play on, because I do want to see all the monstrosities that we mentioned earlier in the factories. But it's like, at the same time, could that be used for content?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely finding this earlier on. It's not all fun and games.
Yeah, it is a hard thing to balance.
Yeah.
It's why I kind of wish I just play like a competitive game, and I'm good at the competitive game, and I just love the competitive game.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. But it's interesting because that's happening with me with Jurassic World now. Because obviously I'm recording it for YouTube, and I like the same you're doing for Let's Build a Zoo, and like. How long was it until me, you, and Liam, for listeners that don't know, is my brother, we all played it on day one, didn't we? The moment it come live, the first game, we were all talking, we were all playing it together. How long was it until we had all realistically finished the majority of the content in that game? Would you say?
Like 1 or 2 nights?
Yeah. See?
Like 12 hours?
We had so much time then just to do what we wanted in the game then, didn't we? And like the game come out when did the game come out? The 9th or the 8th? Something like that. And I've just about finished the campaign, and that's like a short section of it. And I feel like I would have consumed so much more of this if I wasn't, recording there or something. So there's that as well. And
I miss binging. Like that's the one thing. Like I remember like AC Valhalla came out, and I kind of streamed that for like 8 hours, and I was like, I'm never going to stream that again. So let's just play it. And I played it for like a week, and I consumed like 100 hours in like that week. And I had a great time playing. So
is it a good thing though that it stops us binging? Because like
yes and no.
Weeks go by, like time disappears. Even though time already disappears, like
I don't think it is, because I enjoy that. It's like Mass Effect. I've just got out of I would have binged that Mass Effect Legendary Edition. But I was kind of like,
do you reckon you would have had all 3 done by now?
Yeah.
Oh, there was no doubt.
Yeah,
there was no doubt.
I haven't even completed number 1 yet.
Jeez.
I'm about halfway through, but yeah,
after your excited meltdown, emotional overloads last episode about how excited you are for the next one, Dan.
Oh, that I'm binging. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can watch me for 48 hours straight.
So like obviously we're not really binging as much, but like does that change how you look at upcoming games as well? Either of you?
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I was just trying to think what games I'd normally be binging, because like the last big game that I got new was Resident Evil Village, and I streamed like my first playthrough of that. But it was also like I got it because I ordered the hard copy from base.com. I got it a day early, so I like there was a little bit of restraint because I had to wait until it was stream time. But as soon as I knew it was early, I was like, right, I'm streaming this. This is happening. And then each of my streams, like I think it was like 6 hours at a pop or something, like over a weekend. So it was still longer than I'd normally stream, but probably less than I'd have just played it in one go and complete. So yeah, it was a bit of both. There's sort of binge streaming going on, which I might do with that'd be the one thing that gets me to do a 24-hour stream again is the release of Horizon Zero Dawn. I'll just sit there and it'll be the least engaging stream ever because it'll just be me sitting there like stuffing me face with snacks and playing. But I'll do it. Damn it! You won't stop me playing that game.
I miss snacking and playing games because I don't eat on stream. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't eat, and I don't know. Like, I guess it's that I don't like people watching me eat. Maybe I've never been like it in person, but on cam it's so different. I miss snacking and playing games. Like I remember Valhalla coming out, and I went through a popcorn phase. And me and Lauren were buying popcorn, and we were popping it in the microwave, like putting it in a bowl, and then just chucking like minstrels and M&Ms on there, and just it was a wild ride. But sorry, things pop up, and I don't do that no more. I kind of miss I miss eating and gaming. God.
Yeah, but if you do it on stream, other people can hear you as well. That's the thing. Is like
Yeah, it's always audio as well. Damn.
And that's something I'm always quite conscious of in any company anyway, let alone broadcasting to the internet.
Yeah, that's the fair thing. But do you know, interestingly, Lloyd, what you're on about, like the scheduling of your stream makes you play games. Do you know what you're saying? Like, yeah, it's something along with that. You were saying that like Katana, you wouldn't have played it because time, but then scheduling it means
I used it as an excuse.
Yeah, like
it made it productive in my head.
That made me think about like me and horror games as well, and I know you as well because were you big into horror before streaming, like
Me, a bit,
you were a bit, weren't you?
Not like, much though.
Because I scheduled me to stream horror games, I've experienced horror games, and I can safely say that my opinion on horror games has not changed. They're horrible. I don't understand why people love them. Why? They are just But without scheduling them and kind of promising people that I'll do it, I would never have experienced something that I didn't want to experience.
And that's a positive. That's a positive.
It's a positive, you know?
I think it's positive.
I mean,
we will definitely have to do an UnCapt stream in the future where we all sit round a computer, watch you play a horror game, and then like me and Lloyd can like make strange sounds, and when you're in the middle of really tense situations, or just be like grab you and stuff.
Don't do that.
Let us know in the comments if you want this. As many.
I don't want this.
Let the people speak.
Can I comment and say that I don't want this?
And then we can all dislike that comment. Just like, no, we definitely want this.
What has been your favorite game to stream so far?
Little Nightmares.
Ooh, did you stream? Did you stream 2?
Yes,
or was it just you did stream 2 as well? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
How?
And I freaked out at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a VOD.
What? Self promo.
Check me out at twitch.tv/.
Do you know, fun fact for everyone, when me and Lloyd started streaming kind of in quotations proper, like we were making a constant effort of it, we both worked together in McDonald's, and we'd go around just going, if someone did something and they'd be like, oh, thank you, we'd be like, oh, remember, if you want to thank me, go to www.twitch.tv/ and then have our name and be like, and you can follow us.
It was our name in the group chat.
Yeah, we had a work group chat and we changed our nicknames to our Twitch links.
That's why.
We were thirsty for views then.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
Did this lead to an upsurge in popularity, or was this literally just people going, one of these two up to?
I don't think we were very likable. We were too moody on shift. I mean, if we made an effort, people may have actually come and seen it.
Yeah.
What about you, Phil? What's your favorite game you've streamed?
I was just racking my brains trying to think of that because I mean, it's a bit of a because like I've not really played on stream any games that I actively didn't enjoy.
Oh, I have. Oh,
But at the same time, it's like the enjoyment and the game you're playing because of the nature of the stream is some separate sometimes. So, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the excuse ahead of Village going out to replay all the old Resis, and particularly Resident Evil 1, like the original, not the remake, because I'd not really played, I'd never actually completed it before that, and also fun fact, I didn't complete it on stream. I ended up having to complete it, like make a YouTube video because that last boss just kept killing me over and over again. I was like, no, I'm getting nowhere here. This is just to end it. But kind of rediscovering like old games that like you used to love and stuff. That was fun. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, this is a really cop out answer, so it's hard to pick. Just because I think there's been streams that are really enjoyable if you got lots of people talking to you and lots of stuff happens and stuff like that. It's not always connected directly to the game, if that makes sense. Just because,
100%.
Yeah, the game is if you make interesting content, the game is almost secondary. But again, there's no like if people start streaming, no one teaches you any of this stuff. You kind of have to learn, don't you? Like about what drives audiences and stuff, and most of us don't know jack about marketing and stuff like that. So, and then hopefully we get past all these people who go, well, what you need to do to grow on Twitch is if you follow me and I follow you back, and then we all follow each other.
I think Phil's got a thing against follow for follow. I don't know if anyone else has picked up.
I've got to be honest, mate. I've got a marketing degree, and I still don't have a clue. it's just insanely different. It's just like I understand like there's all the audience behaviors and all that jazz, but like it's just like it is such a I don't it you have to get involved in other people's. You have to make yourself known around the scene, I think, and get involved in other people's communities and things like that. And that kind of drives then is that's my take on it.
I save all this for my last segment. Segment I need this for.
Okay, sorry.
You're spoilering before the spoilers, Lloyd.
Sorry, Mr. Chairperson, if you want to take us on.
I was just going to say though, firstly, that I think my favorite game to stream was Apex. Like genuinely, because at the time I loved Apex so much. I've fallen from it now a bit, you know. I've not enjoyed it now, but like it just leads to so many fun situations. That was mine. I love Apex Legends. It's a great game, but yeah. But going on to my final streaming segment, I'll go to Lloyd first so he can explain a bit more. But I was just going to ask your actual honest tips and advice for streamers, because the subject's streaming, so we may have people in here that may be thinking about doing it, and like I want your honest take, your honest tips, advice. None of this. Don't look at your viewer count because that's not how you're worth. And it's like, no, you're gonna look at your viewer count, but you know. So Lloyd, what honest tips and advice do you have for our humble listeners?
Get a notebook, write everything down. Write your topics down. Like just write fallback plans. Oh, you got one. Sick. Write anything to fall back onto if like your chat's not active, especially if you're starting out. You're going to have non-active chats. I'm sure we've all had plenty. Just stuff to talk and ramble about. Like I'm so like I can think of things off the top of my head and 2 seconds later completely forget what I'm on about. And like so just write it all down. Like and I've carried around with me for like 2 days now. For like this week, sorry. And I've just been writing rubbish in there, like things that have happened and just stupid little stories.
It might be rubbish, but there might be like a little nugget in there.
Yeah. And just like what games you're going to be playing, what games you can play, what's happening. What else have I put in there? Let me have a look. I'm not going to show you all because it's embarrassing.
Oh,
So,
read, dear diary.
It's got my crush in here.
Today Dale texted me with 2 kisses.
Two
What does that
kisses,
mean?
yeah. And like just like little things, like say if there's ever like a chat command you can do for the game you're planning on playing, or just scribble it down so you don't forget it, because you will forget it. And yeah, as I was saying before as well, get involved in other people's communities. I'm just taking all the ideas, and now over to this guy.
Yes,
I realised we're flipped on my screen. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a good enough tip. That I don't have a notebook there because
Get a notebook, Phil.
Well,
the closest
not
I've got
following
a
the UnCapt
tablet.
tips.
But,
No, it's not good enough.
Pen and paper.
But yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing is this. Like, it's not so much the theme of my stuff is things not to do, but like, as long as your stuff works on a basic level, that's enough. I mean, that's the first thing if you're gonna stream. As long as if you've got a camera, it doesn't have to be the best camera in the world. You don't spend money on a Go XLR or whatever. Like, get a 10 quid webcam, the USB. That's all I've got, and it works fine. Same with the mic. Like, I did this, although it looks fancy because it's on an arm. It's really cheap. All that stuff, as long as you've got basically working audio stuff, what matters more is the actual content you put out, which is that you've got something which engages other people. If you've got all the best equipment in the world, but then you're sitting there playing a game, you're not really talking to people, and you're just looking sour, then no one's going to watch it because no one's going to care that, oh, well, actually the pixel density on this camera is really good. Thank you, Dale, for the miming there. Yeah, the typical, I mean, not to stereotype it, but having seen it kind of in action is like the person who goes live and then spends like the next 20 minutes going onto different Facebook groups and posting the links and stuff, or onto other people's chats and doing it, and like not actually engaging with it. Like, what do you do? Talk to yourself, even, like, if there's no one in your chats, pretend like it's a YouTube video and you're a Let's Player. Just talk like that, and yeah, like I'm doing now. Just let things come out your mouth. Occasionally, even you yourself might be surprised by what you say, but it'll all be interesting in some way to someone.
Did I say that?
Was that me? No, I was waffling. That was not me.
I have said that in real life as well. Occasionally, I'm as surprised as anyone else by what comes out of my mouth. It just open my mouth, words drop out. The order of them might even occasionally make sense. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is don't focus on the equipment or the tech. Get something that works basic. Even if you've just got a headset mic, it's enough to start out with. What you want to focus on is what you want to be as a streamer or content creator, or as make that, refine that. If you're not as good at speaking in that situation, if you're a bit nervous and stuff like that, practice that, get used to that, and don't be afraid to stumble when you're doing that, because everyone started out from god awful, stuttering, stumbling. It happens. Like, I've stood up and given speeches in front of people like in the hundreds. It doesn't make any difference compared to like trying to engage with people on stream. It's a different skill. Everyone's going to start from scratch somewhere. Just practice and work out what you want to do and what you want to be. And you can be the best you can be.
And I'd imagine when you give those speeches to the hundreds, Phil, you probably had a notepad to support what you were speaking about and noting your stuff down. Back to Lloyd's best point. Right,
£1.50 from Asda. That's all it costs, guys.
This podcast is sponsored by Asda Notebooks.
It's not, for I think for legal reasons, it's not actually just a.
Yes. So, for anyone who can't pick up, that was a joke.
It's a joke. Yeah, no, I think they're both really good points. I think keeping a note on what you're doing, what you're thinking is really important. And, just learning how to waffle. Waffling's a skill, man. It is a good skill. I'm better at it when I'm tired, but waffling's very good.
What he's
I
talking about.
think... Wait, what?
That's what he's talking about.
Was that... Oh, he's insulting me already. Damn it. Damn it. But no, I think my big tip is just listen to yourself. Like, if you're not enjoying it, if something's not right, figure out what it is. If you're not enjoying the game you're playing, the content you're putting out, if something's not feeling right, listen to yourself and figure out why. I learned that the hard way. A real hard way. And you don't have to if you actually just pay attention to, how you're feeling, how you're enjoying things, and yeah, that's quite important. And also, buy a notepad. I could see Phil's frustration. I was quite surprised. I thought Phil was going to go into a follow for follow rant again, but that didn't happen. I honestly thought.
I do try and switch it up occasionally like that, because that wouldn't have helped anyone. That would have just been a rant. And again, I think that's part of the weird. None of this. Obviously, we've been making a podcast. We've just been talking about it. We've not made an instructional video for new and aspiring streamers. And I don't think we need to, because there's enough of them. That's the other thing.
Loads.
Use YouTube. Look these things up. There's loads of people talking about how to do X, Y, Z. Anything you possibly want to do, there's something out there. But yeah, I thought
I do. And bug Phil and Lloyd when things don't go right and ask them how to fix it, because they know what they're doing and I don't. So get yourself 2 friends that know what's going on and just bug them.
Yes, we definitely know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh Lord! But yeah, that's
Photoshop.
What's that? I don't know how to use Photoshop. You both were showing me how to make a thumbnail the other day, and I still don't know what I did. Okay, it looks good though. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, that's it for the streaming segment. Yeah, the other thing would be news. We're moving into our news segment, but since we're recording this a few days before, 2 days after our last podcast, we just time traveled in my brain anyway. There's not been too much kind of, I was to say announced, or too much happening. Although I do have something interesting. Did you see about the Xbox sales in Japan?
No.
No?
Is this where it's starting to break through?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. They've now sold over 100,000 Series X/X units, and it took the Xbox One over 4 years to reach 100K in Japan. So they're selling like 4 times faster, these new consoles in Japan, which is a pretty cool thing. Because I'd imagine that Japan is kind of Sony, right? PlayStation and Nintendo, mainly. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, no, the
PC.
Oh, maybe I don't know, but apparently the PS5 is still dominating in Japan, according to the article that I read. But yeah, it's selling 4 times faster than the original Xbox did in Japan, so it must be doing something decent, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, Sony and Nintendo are both based over there, aren't they, originally?
Yeah.
That's possibly one of the... I don't know how much that drives, like, people's choice, like, because I've never... I'm definitely not one of those people who buys... Well, I can't even say buy British, because God knows what a British console would look like.
Lloyd's got a joke, but he didn't want to say it.
Do it.
Good, not cause a controversy.
So we cause controversies on every single stream, every single.
Last week he was hating on Sony.
Podcast, yeah.
This week is hating on Switch. This week is hating on Switch.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I suppose it's a good sign, right? That Xbox are doing a bit better because obviously the Xbox One wasn't entirely the most popular of consoles. Even though I love it, it wasn't. Anyone else have any news? I have one or two things more that I could talk about.
Well, before I was gonna say, I mean, we covered streaming and we covered a lot of that stuff about how it's affected us. I think like this isn't a topic for. I was just going to suggest. I think one of the things we might want to discuss in the future is probably about how this affects like the almost like how the different brands and what they're doing to like pull people to watch streams on their different platforms and stuff, because that's affecting things like the Twitch stuff about they're trying to basically get people to pay to promote the streamers that they like streams and all this stuff.
That's not.
But in terms of one of the things that handily wrapping this back to news, one of the things that I discovered last night is that there's now a Twitch app on the Nintendo Switch as well, so you can now watch. So even the Switch, alongside the other, is becoming one of those places where you don't just play games; you can watch whatever you'd normally watch on it as well. So you never have to look up from your console; just it's there forever and
to consume you, to eat away at your time,
and your
to
soul.
rot away your brains. Give you. Did anyone else's parents tell you they give you square eyes if you watch the telly? Yeah.
If you sat too close.
If you sat too close.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't believe in that because you literally. Yeah. Did you have a news point there, Lloyd? I saw your eyes intrigued.
Bethesda have just dropped Starfield.
Wait, what? Really?
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh,
I hope they go back to making good RPG.
Oh, so they don't make good RPGs, Lloyd?
Fallout 4 was a bit of a hit and miss one, wasn't it? And obviously 76 wasn't. Yeah.
Again.
Starfield. This description is purely is not about doesn't say anything about the quality of the game or potential quality of the game. This is just, but it's basically Skyrim in space, is it?
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be.
But this is Bethesda now. They say there's twice as much dialogue, so they're no longer measuring games by their map size, but now how much dialogue they've got in, and will be a bit more hardcore than what the studios released before. So, okay, I'm excited to see what it's going to be like.
What do they mean by hardcore, though? What does that mean?
It's not family friendly anymore.
Does it mean it has more Todd Howard in it or less Todd Howard? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Does it need more bugs to fight through? I don't know. I don't know.
I still think one of the best memes that I've seen for 10 years now since Skyrim come out was the Todd Howard's "It Just Works" meme over the game's breaking, and to this day that will always make me laugh.
The funny thing is I was reading an article yesterday about the new Skyrim Anniversary Edition running 2 is crashing because it's running too good. Only Bethesda could manage that. It's just
yeah, true.
It's just like I don't know. But yeah, it says here at the thing, so I've just got it up now, is if you're getting a black screen after loading a modded save. So it looks like it's for mods though, so it's not the main game.
Because they implemented all that, didn't they? Mods and stuff.
Yeah, which is good.
Wasn't there something, because from what I've seen, like the PC version of Skyrim is basically saved by mods. Like that's the only reason it works, if you get all these mods which fix loads of things and stuff. Doesn't the new edition of it basically undo all of that and make it?
Oh, is that what's happening? That it actually works now, so you can't actually play it because you've made it work in the older version, and now the new version works, so it's messed up your. Oh, damn! It's a paradox and a half.
It's just funny. It's just such a Bethesda thing.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Have you seen all this stuff with the new GTA? Like, have they?
The trilogy.
Yeah, have they like pulled it?
Have they pulled it?
I don't know. I think so.
There's been lots of bugs. I've seen like lots of people posting things basically about how it just looks bad. Like they've remastered it, and it's less about like you take an old game and remaster it, and it looks sharper and crisper. It's more like they've remastered it, and somehow because they've done it, it basically draws closer attention to all the flaws in it and stuff.
Yeah, the cartoon. They made it more cartoony.
Mm. So I suppose the cartooniness goes in line with like the loading artwork and the box artwork, doesn't it?
Yeah,
They're very
There's
like
pictures of the characters with like massive fingernails on them, like that just look ridiculous. Or at one point where someone was flying, and because they've removed the fog, you can see like the entirety of San Andreas. I think this was,
I've
and it
seen
just
that.
looks
Awful.
Yeah, so I think
So
it whether it was a rush job or what, I don't know.
maybe it was a cash grab, really, and because it's not like as Lloyd says, quite a lot. Nostalgia sells, and GTA. Well, Rockstar know this, but apparently the launcher went down, so you couldn't play the games. Yeah, but the launcher's come back up, and they've kept the PC version of the GTA Definitive Edition offline, so you cannot play it even if you've bought it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's leading into where we were talking about maybe we should have a conversation about digital versus physical, because this is something that they can do. And I'm not sure, this is me off the top of my head from things that apparently they like removed necessary files from the game or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's not a good look for Rockstar right now. And I suppose,
It's only been out a couple of days, haven't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's only been out. Yeah.
But they will take this, though, and say, right, see, the one time we try and release something that's not another version of GTA 5, this is what happens.
I was going to say, yeah.
This
should have been playing multiplayer.
Yeah, you should have just looked at the new, what do they call them, shark cards, and got some money for your GTA characters. Yeah, no, it's a bit of a weird situation. I've not really kept on top of it. I do want to go and have a look at San Andreas, and I know, Lloyd, you want to go see 3 again, don't you?
3 and Andreas and Vice City. Fuck you, why not? Let's go for all.
I've got the PS2 versions of them sitting there as well, so it might. On the one hand, I want to see do a direct side by side comparison of the two and see what they look like and see whether there is actually any worth. On the other hand, I'd have to pay, what is it, 50 quid, 60 quid to make that comparison. So,
yeah, it might be interesting. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look. The games don't look good today, but I suppose I don't know. Should they just up the graphics? Because you can't I don't know. I don't know what they should have just made things look better, or at least made it run smoother and stuff.
It really depends on where they've intervened, I suppose, because they with the stuff using the updated the PS4 versions, like the Resident Evil 4 and onwards, it doesn't look hugely different, but it looks sharper and crisper, I think. So it's kind of a aesthetical tweak, whereas with the VR version of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4, Resident Evil 4, the VR version of the console. No, but with the VR version, they basically rebuilt that from the ground, so to incorporate the fact that you can move around a lot more freely because you're basically substituting. I very much doubt the GTA is anywhere in that end of the spectrum. It's much more of a tuned up version. And sorry, I'm just being completely derailed in what I'm saying by just seeing Dale holding up a notebook and saying, "Look, go to Asda, spend £1, buy this."
It's useful.
But yeah, I think it was much more on the end of whatever the game dev equivalent of going on Photoshop and just clicking sharpen image on an old photo from 1996.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah,
good.
could they just sharpen the graphics from those days?
You're our Photoshop expert, Lloyd. Can you?
No, that's what I'm asking. I don't think that's why. I think that's why they went with it. To be honest,
I
it's
suppose, like, well, that's
in
the
the middle.
thing, innit? It's a risk. If they do it and it's good, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the news that I kind of have.
The Steam Deck's been pushed back by 2 months as well. That's another bit.
Oh yeah,
Were you
that's a
ever
thing.
Yeah, were you ever planning on getting one?
No,
No,
were
no,
you?
Phil? No. I, I, there's a couple of games that I play portably that I've got on PC, but I don't know.
It's a Jurassic World Evolution 2. Again,
No.
I expected you to get up and walk out there. Like, how dare you call me out like this?
uh, but yeah, it's been pushed back because of chip issues. They've run out of chips, so the bit of news.
That's like a big thing at the moment, isn't it? I know a load of cars and stuff have been
Fallback, yeah.
I was going to say withheld. They've just been stopped because of chips and stuff. I guess that's another COVID thing, but yeah, I think we'll Phil, unless there was something you wanted to say about news.
Nothing that comes to mind. I mean, what will obviously happen is, as everyone's watching this when it goes live on the Saturday, the something of November, whatever date we're releasing it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, on the 20th. In between now and then, obviously, all sorts of things will happen, and the whole gaming world will be turned upside down and be, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about this hot topic? And the answer is because we are recording this on the same day the last episode was released, because Lloyd is flying off to Prague to go and
have a lovely beer.
Yes.
And pate.
So when the gaming world was being turned upside down, Lloyd was partying and not caring.
I don't care.
When the gaming world is on fire and burning, Lloyd has turned his back on it. Just so you know.
Unless it affects the Switch, because I will be taking that with me.
I thought you were going to say, unless it affects Jurassic World Evolution 2.
But the great thing is when I come back, Pokemon will be out and it'll be on my doorstep, all pretty new NC packages. So I'll be traveling over to Sinnoh.
Are you getting physical?
Yeah.
Damn, I think the last physical game I bought was Rise.
Only
because I wanted the Amiibo. Yeah, it's Steelbook kit. That really sells it for you, don't it? If a game
I love a Steelbook case.
How many do you reckon you have?
I only got 5.
Really? Oh.
Yeah,
I thought you had more. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You have,
fair. They're pretty. They're collector's items.
Fair.
Okay. Don't judge.
No, I'm not judging. I mean, I have all Pokemon boxes up on my shelf. Like I love collectibles. I'm a bit of a nerd like you, you know.
I'll wait for my shelves to be up so I can. That's another thing I'm going to do after Prague, and I'm going to do my shelves.
That's fair.
The DIY. Going to put on my
DIY SOS.
We'll have a special feature on it. Everyone wants to watch like a little 5-minute tour of Lloyd's room.
It's like, you got all my clothes by there, beautiful and pretty. Yeah.
And we need to round out by plugging socials and stuff, right? So you can find us everywhere on just UnCapt Gaming, and YouTube, everywhere you get your podcasts. This is available. We're on YouTube, Facebook, all the social platforms, all under UnCapt. And yeah, that's I think it from us, right, guys?
That's everything we have to say today, and we will not speak again until a week's time. We will be
a while. We'll do a good 20-minute news segment where we cover everything that's happened since Lloyd disappeared to another country. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, follow if you enjoyed, and chuck some comments in the comment section. And we will catch you all on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Buy a notepad.
Have a beautiful time and buy a notepad. I've opened something here.